Okay, so for all of you crossbow enjoyers out there, I've put together a comprehensive guide on all the crossbow glitches I can find. So the way this works is you have two categories of arrows, retrievable and non-retrievable. The basic premise is you can pick up a non-retrievable arrow by firing a retrievable arrow next to it, provided of course you have radio transmitter module. So on the left here for overclocks we have quickfire, the specialist and bodkin points, all of which don't change the pickup functionality of arrows. And the same thing goes for both the special bolts on that side, pheromone and chemical explosion. Over on the right side here we have trifork volley, firebolt and cryo bolt, alongside special bolt taser. Now all of these have the non-retrievable tag, which means you can't pick them up with E, and you can't normally recall them with radio transmitter. These two are the unique ones of the bunch. So with chemical explosion bolt, you can actually regenerate your ammo. This is in fact the only bolt that old glitch still works with. As for the taser bolts, you can set up permanent and working Tesla traps. As you can see, you've probably been looking at this entire time. That is completely doable in vanilla and you don't even lose any ammo. So I'm going to get on to some specific examples and how to do each one. First up, I suspect the one you'll be most interested in is permanent Tesla traps. So to do this, other than your Tesla bolts, you're going to need a retrievable arrow. So stock or bodkins, basically anything that you can normally pick up with radio transmitter module. So here we've got a expended Tesla bolt stuck in the ground, and as you can see I can shoot a normal bolt next to it and then pick both up with radio transmitter module. Now the interesting stuff starts to happen when you try to pick them up while it's still going. So as you can see here, I've fired down 3 Tesla bolts and I'm going around shooting normal bolts next to them and picking them up. And what seems to happen is the initial effect from the bolt goes away, but the linked trail doesn't. It still damages enemies, still works completely, and it will stay there the entire match.
Rock and roll and stone!
Next up, we've got Classic, the original bolt duplication glitch. This still works as before, but you can only do it on chemical bolts. You fire a shot into the wall, wait till it recoils, and pick it up while it's flying back to you. This is something to keep in mind when you're using fire or cryo bolts, because this lets you regenerate the thing you use to pick up your unretrievable bolts. Speaking of, fire bolts. Now when you decide to use something that replaces your primary ammunition with something unretrievable, if you want to do this glitch, you're going to be forced to take a retrievable secondary ammunition. I would recommend chemical bolts since you have the ability to regenerate them. But as you can see here, the effect doesn't linger like it does with the Tesla rounds, but you can still get the ammo back. And just to demonstrate here, I've got some cryo bolts and pheromone bolts, so you can see it works the same way. Trifork works with that as well. So just to recap, as long as one of the bolts you have is retrievable and you have radio transmitter module, you'll be able to get back the other one. Well, that's about it. This all works in multiplayer as well, I'll add, and I'll just leave you with a word of caution. If you're shooting down into the floor like this, you can kind of hit yourself in the head and crash your game in the process. So maybe try to avoid that.